If you're over 60, this small habit could be silently increasing your risk of a stroke while you sleep. No warning, no pain. One moment you feel fine, the next you can't lift your arm, your speech falters, or your balance gives way. As a brain doctor, I've seen far too many older adults experience this. And not because of smoking, poor diet, or lack of exercise, but because of something they thought was helping them: vitamins. Yes, really. Every single day, millions of seniors take supplements hoping to protect their bones, boost their energy, or keep their memory sharp. And while many can be helpful, some, especially when taken in high doses or at the wrong time, can quietly put your brain at risk. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 common vitamins that, particularly in the early morning when your brain is most vulnerable, could raise your risk of stroke, brain hemorrhage, or sudden spikes in blood pressure. If you've ever relied on vitamins like D, E, B6, A, or even niacin, then what I'm about to share could be life-saving. But first, I'm curious. Have you ever stopped to think that the pills you believe are protecting you might actually be putting your brain at risk? Type your answer in the comments below. If you're the kind of person who's always curious about the truth, type 0. And if protecting brain health, for yourself or for someone you care about, really matters to you, then make sure to hit like and subscribe to Health and Longevity Hub so you never miss these hidden insights. Let's begin with the one that shocks most people: vitamin D. This sunshine vitamin has a reputation for being good, for bones, for mood, even for the immune system. And yes, in the right amounts, that's true. But here's what rarely gets mentioned. Taking too much vitamin D, especially if you take it late in the day, can quietly increase your risk of stroke while you sleep. I know this might sound shocking, but I've seen it firsthand with my own patients. Let me share a case that really opened my eyes. An older gentleman in his 70s, let's call him Harold, had spent his life as a disciplined military man. He prided himself on staying healthy and never missing his daily routine. Sharp-minded, disciplined, and serious about his health. Every morning, like clockwork, he lined up his supplements, including a massive 10,000 IU dose of vitamin D he bought over the counter. He truly believed he was protecting his bones, but what he didn't realize was that this routine was slowly pushing his body toward disaster. One morning, his wife found him confused. His speech was slurred, his right arm hung limp. A stroke overnight. When the lab results came back, the picture was clear. Dangerously high calcium levels, stiffened arteries, uncontrolled blood pressure. The culprit? Vitamin D toxicity. Here's why. When you overload on vitamin D, especially without medical supervision, it drives excess calcium into your bloodstream. And your body doesn't know what to do with it. So it deposits it into your arteries, making them harder and narrower. And do you know where that leads? To a clot traveling straight to the brain. As we age, our arteries naturally lose flexibility. Add dehydration, poor sleep, and a surge of calcium at night, and you've got the perfect recipe for a stroke. The scariest part? There are no early warning signs. You go to bed feeling fine and wake up to a life that's been changed forever. And here's something most people don't realize. Many over-the-counter vitamin D supplements in the US actually contain far more than older adults truly need. You'll often see bottles marked 5,000 IU or even 10,000 IU. The assumption is, if a little helps, more must be better. But research shows that unless you're clinically deficient, even 2,000 IU per day may already be pushing the limit. So let me be very clear. If you're taking vitamin D, especially alongside calcium pills or heart medications, you should have your blood levels checked on a regular basis, and always take it in the morning, not before bed. Nighttime dosing only raises the risks. Quick question for you. Do you know how many IUs are in your vitamin D supplement? If you currently take it, drop a D in the comments below. And if this already surprised you, wait until you hear about the next vitamin. It's one many people turn to for heart health, but in older adults, it can sometimes be even more dangerous. increasing the risk of brain bleeds instead of protecting you. I'm talking about vitamin E. Vitamin E is often marketed as a heart helper. If you've been taking it for years, you're not alone. Many people over 60 reach for it every morning, believing it will strengthen their heart, boost circulation, sharpen memory, or even improve skin health. But here's the part the label doesn't tell you. In high doses, vitamin E can quietly raise your risk of bleeding in the brain, especially when combined with common heart medications. And yes, it can happen, even if you think you're doing everything right. Let me share a story I'll never forget. A 79-year-old retired teacher from Pennsylvania, let's call her Mrs. Harris, lived a careful, structured life. She had a heart valve issue and was prescribed a blood thinner to keep clots at bay. Her doctor monitored her levels closely, and everything looked fine. Take the story of Mr. Leonard Hayes, a 78-year-old retired mechanic from Texas. He came to me complaining that his feet felt like they were wrapped in cotton, his fingers tingled constantly, and his balance was slipping away. At first he shrugged it off as just getting older. But then he started falling, once in the driveway, then again in the kitchen. By the third fall, he ended up with a nasty cut on his forehead. When we went over his supplements, the problem was crystal clear. For over a year, he'd been taking a nerve and brain booster he bought online. The front of the bottle promised energy and circulation support. The back revealed the real issue. Each pill contained 150 milligrams of vitamin B6, and he was taking 2 every day. That's 300 milligrams daily, more than 15 times the safe upper limit for older adults. Here's the part that unsettles me most. Unlike certain vitamins that simply flush out in your urine, vitamin B6 can quietly accumulate in your body over time. And in older adults, that buildup can strip away the protective coating around your nerves, almost like peeling the insulation off an electrical wire. The result? A creeping wave of tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, tremors, even moments of mental fog or memory slips. The frightening part is how slowly it shows up. Many seniors mistake it for arthritis, just getting older, or even the early stages of dementia. But often it's something far simpler and preventable: B6 toxicity caused by pills that were supposed to help. One of my patients, Mr. Hayes, was fortunate. Once we identified the problem and stopped the supplement, the progression halted. But the damage didn't fully reverse. He still relies on a cane and no longer drives. He told me with tears in his eyes, "I only wanted to keep my mind sharp. I had no idea I was slowly poisoning my nerves." Let's be crystal clear. Vitamin B6 is essential, but only in very small amounts. Most older adults need no more than 2 to 10 milligrams per day, including what you naturally get from food. Yet many brain boosters sold online or on store shelves contain 50, 100, even 200 milligrams per capsule. That's not just unnecessary, it's dangerous. So if you're taking any supplement labeled for nerve health, focus, or energy, flip the bottle around and check the dose. Know your numbers. And if you've ever taken a high-dose B6 supplement or know someone who has, type B6 in the comments.
Now, if you thought eye health vitamins carried risks, wait until you hear about the one that's often promoted as a heart helper, yet can quietly drive up your blood pressure and even trigger a stroke. I'm talking about niacin, better known as vitamin B3. Niacin is frequently advertised as a natural way to lower cholesterol. In fact, some physicians even prescribe it. You'll also find it hidden inside heart health blends, fortified cereals, and even certain energy drinks. But here's what rarely gets mentioned to older adults. In high doses, niacin can cause dangerous spikes and swings in blood pressure, the kind that put your brain and blood vessels at real risk. Take, for example, Mr. Franklin, an 82-year-old retired mail carrier from Florida. He showed up with an unusual mix of symptoms: sudden flushing across his face, a racing heartbeat, dizzy spells that came and went every morning. His wife thought it was anxiety. His son blamed his blood pressure pills. But the true culprit was something far less obvious: a supplement he believed was helping his heart. Elvis thought he was protecting his heart.
He picked up an over-the-counter heart health supplement, the label on the front proudly claiming, "Supports cholesterol and circulation." What he didn't notice was the fine print on the back, 1,000 milligrams of niacin per serving, and he was taking it twice a day. That's nearly 2,000 milligrams daily, more than 60 times what most older adults actually need. Here's the problem. When you flood your system with niacin, your blood vessels suddenly relax and widen. That's why people often feel a burning flush or sudden heat in their face and chest. But the rebound effect comes quickly. The same vessels snap back, tightening more than before. That sharp constriction can send your blood pressure soaring, strain your heart, and limit oxygen flow to the brain. Over weeks and months, that repeated expand-contract cycle acts like tapping a hairline crack in glass with a hammer. Eventually, the surface gives way, often in the form of a stroke or cardiovascular collapse. Elvis, a 79-year-old retired carpenter, came to me after experiencing what we call a transient ischemic attack, or TIA, often nicknamed a mini-stroke. For 2 frightening minutes, his speech became slurred and unrecognizable. Then, just as suddenly, it cleared up. He brushed it off as a fluke. But when I reviewed his supplements, the truth was hard to ignore. The very pill he believed was protecting his heart, a daily niacin capsule, was quietly putting his brain at risk. And he's far from alone. Many older adults unknowingly take high-dose niacin, sometimes in so-called flush-free or extended-release versions sold online. They assume these are safer. The reality? Even those forms can still raise blood pressure, trigger irregular heart rhythms. Here's the critical takeaway. For adults over 60, any dose above 50 milligrams of niacin should only be used under strict medical supervision. If you already have high blood pressure, an irregular heartbeat, or you're taking heart medications, checking supplement labels is not optional. It's essential. Elvis has now stopped niacin and is recovering well, with no lasting brain damage. But he left me with words I'll never forget. "Doctor, I truly thought I was making the right choice. I never realized I was gambling with my brain." Last nasty that we've walked through 5 common vitamins that can quietly harm your brain, you might be wondering, so what should I be taking instead? Or even better, what should I be eating? Let's shift the focus to real foods, the kind that nourish and protect your brain without the hidden risks. Here's the truth. Your body wasn't designed to thrive on pills. Your brain performs best when it's fueled by whole, natural, nutrient-dense foods, the type it can recognize, absorb, and use in exactly the right amounts. I'll give you an example. Cameron, a 73-year-old retired school principal from Arizona, came to see me with a cabinet full of supplements. She had one for her bones, another for her heart, B vitamins for energy, niacin for cholesterol, a multivitamin, and a handful of so-called brain boosters. She looked at me and said, "Doctor, I thought I was doing everything right." Yet every morning, she woke up dizzy. Her balance was off. Her blood pressure kept climbing. Clearly, something wasn't adding up. So here's what we did. We cleared away the clutter. The shelves of bottles and powders went out, and we replaced them with actual food. No miracle diet, no complicated program, just whole, simple meals at the right times. Her breakfast became almost effortless. 1 boiled egg for clean protein, half an avocado packed with healthy fats, a slice of whole grain bread for steady energy, a handful of blueberries bursting with antioxidants to protect her brain, a glass of room temperature water to rehydrate her system. Sometimes she'd add a few walnuts or almonds for an extra brain-boosting crunch. That was it. No capsules, no powders, just food. Real, recognizable, nourishing food. Within only a few weeks, Cameron told me she felt like a new person. The dizziness was gone. Her blood pressure finally leveled out. Her energy returned. And for the first time in years, she said her mind felt sharp and clear. Here's why it worked. Your brain doesn't need mega doses of synthetic pills. It needs balance, hydration in its natural form, healthy fats to build nerve cells, consistent fuel from whole grains, micronutrients from colorful plants. For older adults, some of the most powerful foods include leafy greens, like spinach and kale, rich in folate and antioxidants. Fatty fish such as salmon or sardines for omega-3s that shield brain cells. Berries packed with polyphenols to reduce inflammation. Nuts and seeds that supply vitamin E, magnesium, and essential fats. And hearty whole grains that keep blood sugar steady and circulation strong. And remember, these aren't just brain foods, they also support your heart, your bones, your mood, and even your mobility. You're not just eating. With every bite, you're actively repairing. Here's your final reminder: awareness itself is the best medicine. At this stage of life, every single choice matters more than it ever has before. And the truth is, what protects you most isn't the pills you swallow, but the knowledge you carry about them. Your body at 60, 70, or 80 doesn't process supplements the same way it did decades ago. Even the most well-meaning habits, like taking a daily vitamin, can quietly backfire if you aren't careful. That's why staying informed is your greatest protection. You don't need to fear vitamins, but you do need to respect them. Read the labels, talk with your doctor, and above all, listen closely to your body, especially when it whispers before it shouts. If any part of this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Starting tomorrow, what's one change you're willing to make? And if you found this helpful, please give it a like so more people can discover it. Make sure to subscribe to Health and Longevity Hub so we can keep learning, growing, and staying strong together. Remember, you're not alone on this path, and it is never too late to reclaim control over your health.